we have it our first game underway. That RT from Tarantula actually going towards the K4 position to begin with. And from Utopia, we see a fairly standard start. Forbidden just spotting out, trying to get some early damage onto that 1-2 line.
It's quite to be expected, and there we go. This is the defensive push about we were talking about. Failure is doing it, and he's doing it really well. He's spotted now, but they don't have the shells yet.
Leechbear already goes down in the beginning of the game. Muka and I think it's Wilkiku just absolutely wrecking him from the 1-2 line. Forbidden in that bush, spotted. And then Leechbear just went away, but in return Shuku taking some damage here, but losing Leechbear already in the beginning of the round. Very uncareful cross. We've seen this before. Spotter in the 1-2 line, and Leechbear bears the consequences of it.
Well, Hellfish mentioned already that there is some nervous play between Leechbear and Xaneleon so far. They are the new guys in the league, but Utopia returning the favor because Shuku carelessly peeking, although Failware was already there and he paid the price. He's now on one shot.
Failware is going to be the crucial guy in this round for KB, as he now already equalized it again, dropping Shuku to a one-shot here. Shuku not expecting it. And at the same time, we see Papapawian and Bishu going towards that zero-line boost from their side. But
three guys are actually lining up for that.
The issue for them is that the position from Failware, he can drop down and then he can sit safe.
Also, he can there be covered by a tank destroyer pretty well, even by RT. Is that RT on K4?
Yeah, RT moved to K4 Tarantula. I guess they put him there in case they rush the 1-2 line.
Okay. So it looks like we will actually have a restart. I guess it was requested by players. Maybe that will actually show us what happened to Leechbear.
Perhaps Leechbear having a DC. Not sure what went on in that one. Still trying to confirm. It has been a restart, so
bear with us. It happens sometimes. No one is happy about it. Players the least, spectators even less.
Now KB with this restart, they knew Utopia now knows that Failware did the boost.
Yeah, this is a big problem now because Utopia knows it.
You can't really punish it though because
if
you're still on reload.
If they have a big guns, they can't because they will not have the reload, but they will know what to expect. Maybe they will just push with the tanks immediately there now. No one can force them to play the same tactics twice.
Now KB, I'm not sure if they can switch lineup. I don't think so.
No one can switch lineup.
So they're gonna have to bring the same lineup, but
everyone has to bring the same lineup, but you don't have to play the same. That's about it. That's the only restrictions you have.
The restart in favor of both teams, though, as Utopia Shuku was pretty much dead as well. So
I would say in this kind of game, Knäckebröd was actually an advantage. Yes, Utopia had the tank more, but all important positions were already taken by Knäckebröd. So Failure being up there, that's kind of a big joker for them.
Bear with us for a second here, as both teams are going to have to be ready again and such. So stay with us for a second here. Mojo, let's talk a little bit more about how to break that passive setup from KB. We saw what Utopia did, but we don't know if that was Leechbear playing carelessly or a DC. As it's been done before, crossing to the 1-2 line. You have to be careful because somebody can put somebody in the bush.
I was really surprised to actually see him die because I saw no hints of any kind of that big mistakes. Because honestly, you cannot really easily kill one guy with TVP like that. He would have to sit on some really open spot doing nothing all the time. So I just thought it's some kind of rookie mistake. That was my first thought because I didn't see him die on a minimap. Apparently something else happened. And restart had to be asked for much more before they actually spotted each other. Otherwise the admins would not approve it.
So there's going to be a restart here. Now, Utopia, a K8 boost, what do they have to do against it? Because we saw Shuku, didn't expect it, gets wrecked. The issue with it is that they can't really sit on the hill anymore as soon as they take that zero-line position because he gets fairly easy shells into their side together with RD.
Yeah, this new physics is like literally at Grand Finals we already said the physics is actually the 8th player in a team. And we even didn't expect how much true of that is because
a lot of teams have found easier way to do the boosts now.
Yeah, there are new boosts, completely new positions you can take, new tactical gains and disadvantages because of that. Everything we saw before was just a hint what will actually come. And now we've seen some matches that are playing counter and against that boost, but so far we've seen that one guy there can actually defend himself against two guys from the other side because he is actually covered by other guys from his team. It's quite open from the defender side.
Yeah, he just drops.
Anyone can shoot.
He just drops down. Artie can shoot. Grill can shoot. Anybody from that K4
Yes,
position.
and he shoots all the time.
And
also.
he shoots all the time also. Now, there's still some boosts that we haven't seen yet. You knows which one I'm talking about.
Yes. But we are not going to say about that.
I'm not saying
the
which
crystal
ones.
ball is not open.
I'm just saying that there are some boosts which the teams haven't shown yet, and I'm waiting for them. I really am.
It's about dedication of a team. That will they self-explore? Will they just rely to see everything from other people? We know there are a lot of teams who are actually following meta, but there is very few teams who actually create it. Creation is the hardest part in any team. And sometimes it leads to great failures. We've seen teams that are playing experimental tanks tactics. Knäckebröd is one of them that tries. But sometimes it just go magnificently and everyone say, oh, look at this, it's brilliant. And other time, what are they doing?
And that was great at trying to break the meta. They always tried some new stuff. Not always with great success, though.
Yeah, there is no good season without cheese. You always need cheese.
Already had some cheese this season with the Japanese tank.
Oh, you had like that Ruinberg break, but they even had a mouse as a backup. Like that struck me hard. Like Oho and the mouse in a one game. I didn't see it yet.
It does seem like our game is ready. Thank you for sticking with us, and we're getting into game here any second as moving into the first round between these two. It was a restart. Now both teams, obviously, again, Utopia moving towards the hill again, and both teams using the same lineup, so fairly same start from both teams.
Does look fairly similar, maybe a bit different start by Utopia with those guys waiting down in the water. But Failware is doing his job again, and he is doing it from the first.
Pay attention to Failware's reload bar. As you can see, he is not reloaded yet, which means that the bad shots from KB are not reloaded either. So he gets there completely for free. Now for the rest of the tanks, it's a fairly standard setup for KB here. That 113 is actually not in the base, but on G4. Nobody to really punish him for that, and Utopia now have to make the move.
I really am confused a bit about the position of Artie plus Grill on K4. Usually Artie is on different angles, so he can shoot the guys that climb up. But I guess with Failware being where he is, he can actually do that job and chase anyone away from the middle part of the hill. And Artie can actually cover both him and lower cap.
I have an explanation for the Artie being there, I guess. Seeing as they decided against putting the 113 on the 8 line in the base, Artie can get shots on that corner as well from where he is. He can support Hellfish and he won't die for free if they do decide to rush that 8 line. But Utopia's play seems to be towards that 1-2 line, and there's a lot of tanks that can cover that Crooks, Leech Bear, that Grilla, Artie even. So we're gonna have to be careful here. It depends if Brati spots him on time.
I find it quite interesting that actually everyone from KB ended up on exactly the same positions no matter the spawn. It looks like they are literally practicing one position per person.
Well, that's a strength and a weakness. I'd say it's a strength in the fact that every player knows how to play his position pretty perfectly. It's a weakness because they don't know the positions in case somebody has a DC, somebody's not there, those kind of stuff.
Yeah, the main problem would be who to replace Failware, I guess. Like that one is kind of a tricky one.
It's fairly easy, that one.
Yeah, but
it requires some practice, like every single boost.
Come on, mate. We've seen positive on that mines that's not uber hard climb, and the guy fell and lost 1400 HP. Lev Shah from Navi fell in Sunday and lost 100% of HP in a match for Navi.
Now we see Milosh push up already, and every single bad shot from Utopia has been spotted, so this push pretty telegraphed already, and they know they can't do that anymore, as it would be too easy for KB to predict this. Even Hellfish is now starting to move towards the hill. Failware actually dropped off, and what is Utopia's next move? Forbidden here. Might try to do the boost. Can he make it? And I think he did. Yes, he did. Milosh, though, getting hit by the Grill and Artie.
I think it was only Artie, and I think they just realized where Artie actually is. But they're still pushing there. It's kind of a stubborn game.
Yeah, Utopia
they're
now
really going head on.
Utopia now going for that 1-2 line push. Milosh already to half HP. Diablo taking some Chelsea as well. Diablo taking even more damage. That's the cost for pushing down that 1-2 line. Diablo dropping low now. Dropping to a one-shot. Bishu as well, and this push is not working out for Utopia.
What a punishment and a pain. The pain coming in is huge, and Leechbear already has 4 more shells. He can take out Dibble and Bichu alone.
Brati is now on reload, and Diablo and Bishu, yes, they have 5 shells. They can't push forward because Leechbear will be able to kill both of them. Milosh is now also pretty low, and it's not looking good for Utopia in the first round here, as now Bishu drops to a one-shot as well. what does Utopia do to get out of here? Because they can't do anything against Brati as Leech Bear actually picks up Bishu as Diablo pushes him forward a little bit.
Wow, I know what can they do. Maybe restart the game again. That would help.
Not possible, Mojo, but now Utopia in a pretty bad position.
Christmas list is then full. Never mind.
I was going to say how Crooks was the only one that took damage as Brady takes a shell here as well, and not much to be done in this one for Utopia. Already half HP of KB.
Oh, Milos is in water in 113 and his driver is dead. Like, that's a kind of a double bummer.
That 113 not the fastest when having to drive through water. Diablo's trying to do what he can here, but just looking at the HP, it's looking pretty dire for Utopia.
Yeah, Lichber really wants to take this one shell and he manages.
Does.
Steady hand of a newcomer.
Picks up Diablo there, and now Brati getting some easy shells in the back of Shuku. Picks Shuku up, and 4 tanks now against the 7 of KB, who still have 10k HP left. Not looking good.
Knäckebröd just opened a new shooting range at Water of Mines. Definitely looks like that, because I've seen no fighting back.
We talked about that 1-2-line push, and most of KB tanks being ready for that. Like Gorilla also landing the shell, Brati landing most of his clip, and that was pretty much the push for Utopia.
Honestly, that's I think, in my eyes, this was the worst decision they could make. The composition of Knäckebröd, tactically, they positioned really well, covering each other, great angles. Also, they were reading the moves at Utopia up ahead, and you saw the shot coming, those butchers. That was a massacre.
Wilkie does manage to pick up a kill, so now 6 players only left from KB, but they're all pretty healthy. And Muka is the only one here with HP. Yes, Forbidden in that T49. He's not a big factor in this round. Hellfish now dropping from below with that E100, and Muka, he's about done for.
This game is pretty much over. We both know it, and every spectator by now knows it. It's only the question how much time will Forbidden actually survive in his hole there.
It's the question if Failware, the mountain goat, I think he knows the boost.
Never mind that.
Tarantula in that M40 is like, don't worry guys, you don't need to boost. I'll clean up that T49 as he goes up in flames. And that was it. That's the first round. KB now 1-0 up.
Pretty nice round in my eyes. KB really did everything well, even perfect. I was questioning for a second the choice from Failware to drop down, because if Utopia actually faked
and then
rotation, they would actually be in a problem. I don't know what to say about that. If you watch it from the winner's perspective now, they definitely made a great choice there, but if Utopia was a bit more versatile and not this stiff in a play, it could be a huge problem.
We talked about what happens if Utopia goes down in the first round. They haven't been there this entire season. They've won it every time. They've gone up to 4-0 at least and then won the game. So they've not lost the first round so far. So this is something new for them. This is something they haven't experienced
Not only that,
yet.
this was a big slap, I would say, because this is not just defeat. This was a massacre, let's be honest with it. But it's Mines attack. Previously, Mines were kind of
balanced.
But in one moment they were really pro attacker side because of a better spawn, attackers would get a heal and so on. But with these new boosts and people developing tactics like using relay and so on, actually,
slowed down a lot.
Yeah, it slowed down. They can just slow the pace of attacker now and bring it back to the defender side. So Mines is again heavily defended side.
I still feel like the attackers need to bring artillery, because it's very easy to put the artillery on E1, slap that E100 for 1 or 2 minutes, and play from there on.
Everyone was actually bringing artillery in past, but then they just gave up because it was not needed due to those fast spawns, rotations, everything possible from attacker side. But I guess the new meta that will come in the middle of the season will probably prove us wrong.
Probably prove us wrong now. Utopia could do exactly the same thing towards KB though. They can put the same passive setup, they can boost somebody themselves as well if they know it. It's not the hardest boost, but they have to put time in to know it.
I believe there is a way against it, but it's kind of risky and
Well,
total
small
gamble.
guns on bad shots. If you pick two bad shots with small guns, you can break it. Now the issue there is, as we know, if they don't boost, you have 2 bad shots with small guns. The small guns are okay, but they're just very hard to penetrate heavies with.
It's not only that, it's not only pushing people there. Parallel with that, at least one guy has to go on other side, climb immediately. You have to take the dominance of the hill and maybe even of the village side. So everything has to be done in the same moment, and it's kind of a big counter play and too big risk for most teams, because if you get pushed on the middle, what then?
Well, they still have the advantage of being on the more favorable side for the middle, spawning on the north, but still those 2 bad shots with small guns. It's a very risky. It's something I would only approve of if the enemy team always boosts K8, but we haven't seen it a lot so far.
It's kind of a nut that we will leave for teams to crack open. We'll just debate about it. At the moment, I'm kind of interested to see what Knäckebröd plans in attack. Defense was perfect so far.
Well, when we talked with Hellfish, he said that there were some things that they have prepared for this one. Perhaps Mind's attack could be one of those.
He's a tricky one, he proved that.
It's a tricky one, he proved that. Oh, poor Spoink, I still got flashbacks.
Oh my god, the guy got caught twice on Ruinberg so far.
Poor Spoink.
Yeah.
Now, Minds though. Let's take a look at replay, but still Minds, such a even map for, it's a 1-1 in my opinion now. It's a very, very even map, both defender and attacker.
Honestly, as I said, I think it's now more pro-defender side because in attack, previously you could boost easier, reach the middle easier, do everything like few seconds ahead of defender. But now with all defensive boosts, if you are trained enough to do them, because they are kind of harder from this side, I think you're in advantage.
I was thinking as well, for example, on Mind's attack, just didn't a thought, right? The E100, it's not the greatest accuracy-wise, right? So him hitting anybody on the boost is very hard. If they send two bat shots up at the same time, right? Okay, to send two bat shots up at the same time, one can control failware, the other one can wreck the E100 for a little bit. Together with, for example, an artillery piece, you could create an advantage that way. Just control failware, make sure he doesn't have a chance into the round, and then bring an artillery piece to try and hit failware, because he is hittable by RD. So they just have to position him smartly and make sure they still have hill control.
Hey, it would require kind of control of and especially a lot of skill between those players, because we've seen so many guys fail this climb. It's fairly
But that's what I
easy,
always say though, it's so
but-
much different doing it in a training room than doing it in a real match.
Yeah, this is definitely season that will really emphasize the skill of individual players, because that's a big difference. So far, all you had to worry about is tactical positioning, angling of your tank, where is your teammate compared to you, can you make a crossfire, do you have good communication with teammates, with commander and so on. But now, in all of that, you have to maneuver your tank over different climbings, not fall down, God forbid, because if you do in a start, you already killed your tactics in instant.
Yeah, we've seen it before in so many matches. Positive is the latest reminder of this. Even Shokic dropped down and took a lot of damage there, but before our grand finals we saw it as well. Wombats just caused.
We've seen many teams also on steps that were failing to climb and losing the run because of that, or some succeeding and automatically winning. It's kind of a gamble.
Almost our teams already. Let's take a look at what we got for our second round. Coming in from tanks for both these guys. As we can see here, Utopia though. Tier 9 Batshot, Tier 9 Waffenträger. Tier 9 Waffenträger 500. Also pretty good gun. But KB 3113 is 3 Batshots, T49. Fairly standard.
It's quite a light lineup for defense. The Waffenträger can be used on two spots, I would say, on K4 and maybe even offensive. We've seen them try to use it on G4. I don't believe the Waffen can actually make it there, so probably back position. FV Heavy, that's a new one, honestly, here. If you don't push him on the middle, maybe they will actually just push the middle with everything they have and try to make a fight there. It looks like that, honestly.
I'm not sure though. I think that Tier 9 Waffenträger will just sit in K4 and they will use the FE215B under the hill.
Maybe, but they have 5 Batshots. They actually can choose what to do, even the rotation through the village with one of them.
It seems like our team's already here, so let's see what Utopia decides to bring with that very mobile lineup. Moving into our next round here, KB currently 1-0 up, and looks like a 1-2 line push coming out from KB. Very heavy 1-2 line push.
And
even a 1-1-3
Utopia going straight for the hill.
They are going straight for the hill. Good call, Mojo, but that 1-2 line push, even with Brati here in that 1-1-3, nobody from Utopia currently is spotting that, so it could prove to be pretty good. Now, Utopia has hill control, and they should realize some things up.
Yeah, definitely Tarantula now is spotted together with a couple of guys from Knäckebröd, but they're already in positions, and this light setup of Utopia is not really favoring the decapping this lower cap.
Good push coming out from KB in the start now. They have 1-2 line control. There's nobody from Utopia in K4. Wilkie and Milosh here as well are in a lot of trouble as they don't have a T49, they don't have an RT, they don't have anybody that can reset the base. And actually Hellfish and Crooks are going very aggressive here, already taking back control of the hill from that side. And now KB is actually on the complete defensive side.
Okay, we did a switcheroo, guys. So now everyone's taken the enemy's side, and now we will actually play. Interesting one. But so far, control of the hill goes to Utopia, so they should be in a slight advantage.
Now Muka is coming back to take that hill, and Brati on the 1-2 line will be very hard to dig out. Diablo and Shuku are still there. I would like to see somebody from Utopia do the 0-line boost at this point from from their side, but KB could actually do the same thing as well.
Yeah, but considering that Utopia is controlling the hill, I don't think KB can boost anyone except directly below the base. That's the only available boost for them, I would say.
Now what does Utopia do as Hellfish is now back on the cap, probably angled towards Shuku, so Shuku won't get reliable resets. Milosh dropped a little bit of HP already, and Utopia, I don't think they thought they were going to be in this situation here. Shuku does get a nice reset, so they got that going for them, but what is KB's final play here?
Actually, I'm wondering, was this their play from the start or based on a setup of Utopia anticipating their push on the middle? I'm really interested that you actually ask Hellfish in the next interview that, because if this was a blind play, it's hell of a gamble. It looks more like just reaction to their pick.
You can see Hellfish's angle here. It's not that easy for Shuku to reset. That bad shot has good camo though, so it's going to be hard for Hellfish to spot him in return. And Utopia, they're a little bit down in HP, but still, the threat of the cap.
Utopia is in a big problem here because the usual position to decap Hellfish where he is on a point where Utopia was or right above him. And they have like two guys now in cap. Yeah, they do.
And Diablo is going for the boost here. Let's see if he can make it, as he does make it. So well done by Diablo. This gives them a new angle to reset, an angle that KB might not be able to spot. They need Shuku to spot the cap though, so Diablo can reset.
The problem is, yeah, they at the moment even don't see Hellfish and Crooks.
Diablo though, overextending here, taking 2 shells in return.
It looks like KB anticipated this already and pre-aimed.
Diablo getting spotted there and getting shot in return now. Shuku is trying to do what he can, but taking a lot of damage in return here as Hellfish is the one being shielded and Utopia is just losing more and more HP.
9 seconds to go and they have to sacrifice so much HP on Milosh now to reset.
Tarantula came in here to shield Hellfish as well, but cap did get resetted, so but still look at the HP. KB currently 4k up against Utopia. Utopia not looking good in this one, and Forbidden and Bishu trying to make a difference here, but Bacha is just falling back smartly. If they go for this one, it's again not an option that's going to work out very well, as Muka as well now trying to come forward in that tier 9 Bacha. Forbidden does pick up Tarantula, so HP slowly but surely edging back towards here, and Leechbear and Fail were pretty stuck in this one.
Yes, but I would say 113s are trying to help their mates, but Milosh now, together with Vilkund, are controlling the top of the hill.
This push
suddenly
is not good,
everything
though.
is turning back.
This push from Failware and Leechbear is not going to work out, as there's still 3 shells available. Forbidden still has 2, Bishu still has 1. Kind of low roll here, but Forbidden can still do it, and that push from the Batshot's not working out. Yes, Utopia has fallen very low at this point, but they have 7 players alive compared to the 5 of KB.
And
Finally,
one of them
Muka
is
goes
almost dead, and I think he will be dead in a next second. Yes.
Yeah, he does go down here, but Crooks as well should be getting shot in the back
Muka
here.
is down,
Does get saved.
and Forbidden is down. This is kind of more equalizing now, and Utopia is really clinging on their HP. The major problem they have is the only guy with serious amount of HP is actually Waffen, and that's not really a most mobile tank and has no armor or whatsoever.
Yeah, that Waffen won't be taking any hits so far, as he's not very mobile, like Mojo said. Crooks. Bishu does land 1 shell onto Crooks in return, but it goes down. It's now a 4v4. Damage being traded onto KB though, and KB have the issue that they have a very slow lineup here. Those 3 113s. It's going to be onto Sana to make a lot of plays here, as he's the only one that can really rotate.
I think they should push someone in a cap right now if they want to trigger anything.
See Sana now edging forward.
Can they even, because Milosh is up there? That's the biggest problem.
Big shell from that Waffen trigger though. 631 off of Sane. Lands 1 into return onto Wilkie here, who is now 1-shot and lost his gun. Milosh here also kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place, as now down to 1-shot. Yes, the HP so much in favor of KB, but Utopia is trying to hang on here.
My best bet would be that Brati has to go in cap right now. They have more than enough time. And if he's able to cross without getting shot, I mean, he can if he just goes down, because there is no one from Utopia controlling upper part on A-line. I'm just thinking that Knäckebröd is hesitating because they're not sure of that. But there you go. Brat is going now in the cap.
Brati is going now in the cap, and Krook's getting spotted here, has to be careful. Still, Utopia have so little HP at this point. Diablo, the only one that can take a shell. So any peek they have to be very careful. Also, pay attention to Shuku. Doesn't have a commander, doesn't have a gunner. He's not going to hit anything on the capture circle.
Deeble, if he catches Brati, he can bring Utopia in a game, but there is so big advantage here for Knäckebröd. I just don't know why are they so greedy to kill. This is not a bloodthirsty war. They're just supposed to tactically win, and Brati on a cap would do that.
Brati here taking him,
Really? He
flanking
missed him
another
and he's
shell.
pretty much checked. Oh, what a fail.
Milosh here, he doesn't have a repair kit, Brati, so Brati still not able to pick up Milosh as he finally does, but is it worth the trade he made for that? Diablo here.
Jesus, go on a cap, man, already.
Relax, Mojo. The HP now getting a lot closer, 2.4 against 1.1. Utopia is still not out of this one. Hellfish now pushing forward towards the hill as well, but he doesn't have an ammo rack. And this fight is going to be very hard for Utopia. I feel like Sana needs to make a play as soon as Wilkie gets spotted in it.
Wow, Knäckebröd is on warpath. They actually want to kill everyone. Well, let's see how it develops.
Hellfish here has to be careful. Wonder if Wilkie wants to make the peek here. Hellfish has to be really careful in this one as Wilkie is just waiting around that corner.
There should be a cap any second because Brati is there. But he's not touching it for some reason. There we go. Took him a while.
Now Stana also wants to edge forward. Maybe take the shot onto Wilkie. Hellfish here controlling, and Diablo is going to have to be the man that makes the play here. Stana now sneaking forward. If he can pick up Wilkie, probably will seal the round in their favor as he did not get spotted crossing over there. So now he does. So now Stana is spotted. The jig is up. Can he pick up Wilkie though? Doesn't seem like it. Brati, he does. Sana
nice play.
picks up Wilkie.
Nice
so
play,
that could probably have sealed the round here in favor of KB. Now Shuku and Diablo are the only ones left here. Hellfish realized that they ran away as well. Xane shouldn't overextend here, should just wait for the play. Brati's in the cap, Crooks is controlling the south. They're in a fairly good position here. Diablo is a two-shot, so if he gets the shell first onto Xane, could win this one.
Interesting play by Knäckebröd so far. We were debating here a bit who will have the upper hand in the match. Xane has to run away, but I think he's fairly safe now behind these rocks.
Also,
and doubling the cap also.
Diablo has the small gun, so he wouldn't be able to two-shot Xane.
Sneaky one.
Now, Hellfish knows he can push forward towards Shuku as he is a two-shot and Shuku is a one-shot for him. And now 3 guys on the cap. We talked about that small gun. He's going to struggle to penetrate Shuku, flanking the first shot. Hellfish now pushing forward. Hellfish does pick up Shuku.
With that commander and gunner. Like, that's not even a tank. That's a KV2 on wheels.
And there we go. KB picking up the second round here. 2-0 up now. Got a lot closer than we wanted to. Very greedy to pick up Milosh.
Yes, I think since he was on one shot, if you put a guy up and he really wants to reset, he will die anyway. So why just not let him do that? Instead, he risked almost 1k HP and even permatrack there to get it done. Okay, they wanted to pull Hellfish down below the hill so he could proxy, but in all honesty, I don't think none of that was needed. Just a guy in a cap would do the job.
A little bit of nervousness here for KB. Starting off very strong. I don't think they expected to be in that position as it took them a long time to make their play. But it's very hard. It's very hard, very weird playing from the defensive side.
But their plays were much better than Utopia. Utopia, we are used. They have really great counter plays, counter attacks, and things. Here, they're being schooled, mate.
Diablo also. Diablo in the bad shot drove onto A2, which would have been a good position for him. And instead of waiting for the spot, he started blind shooting, got spotted, and took 2 shells in return for free, pretty much.
I believe that actually Knäckebröd was even waiting for that because that's the only risky position they had not covered. Plans by Knäckebröd are far ahead of Utopia so far, and that's why I even thought that mines would be their map mostly. But development of the situation was pretty nice. Next map, that will be a tricky one for both.
Well, we saw KB play on Cliff, and it wasn't wasn't that great.
But I guess it was a good lesson what not to do.
Now moving into our next map, Mojo. I'm gonna favor Utopia in this one. As we saw KB play on Cliff and they didn't look that good. We saw them win a round, but that was more because of out of range's overcommitment than anything else. As we look at some of the highlights here from that last round. This push here from KB was also unnecessary. Totally unnecessary. Failware
I think they were in a problem actually there, and they had to do something because otherwise they will just get shot from to the death from two sides. They were pinched down and a big problem. And in that push around the corner, they weren't shooting the best. I think one of them actually missed a shell. So that was the only tricky part. But after that, Utopia HP, that's the problem with so many Clippers and
throwing
soft
away
tanks.
HP in the beginning.
Because your HP, when it drops and you are spotted all the time, it's not like Prohorovka where you can rotate and do whatever you want. It's mines, it's smallest map in a game.
Let's take a look at the stats from that last round, though, and we can see who from KB as do think our names are a little bit wrong here. FE215B, that was Miloš. So bear with us. Seems to be a slight mistake in the post-battle stats here, as we obviously, as Levanta is obviously not in KB. As I don't know yet, but I don't think he's a KB.
Maybe
so
new
far.
recruitment here coming through. We need a better artillery player.
The new recruitment for KB. Just ignore those stats, guys. Don't pay attention to them. It was a small mistake. We apologize. But now let's talk about Cliff. I'm favoring Utopia in this one. We saw KB play and they didn't look that well. We didn't see them make a play. They lost the first round against out of range on Cliff very convincingly. The second round out of range flunked their response, and KB didn't really have to do anything.
I would actually favor KB here, or at best for 1-1 for Utopia, because I think Utopia now is shaken hard. This is a big defeat.
Well,
Two
we
games
talked
down
about
on
it.
mines, yes. Are they able to recover from it? They didn't seem that self-aware on
But
mines
they haven't
now.
been in this situation yet, and we know from
Yes.
previous seasons when
This
they
is
go
the first-
down.
This is the first big challenge, while Knäckebröd actually had a really rough part so far.
Yeah, they know how to deal with being down. Utopia has only been 4-0 up, had an easy breeze through their first two matches. KB had to fight to win against Oops.
Yeah, so glorified approach will not work. They will actually have to work their way up back in the game. Cliff, a tricky map. If you commit too much, it doesn't pay off usually.
Wondering if we're going to see that grill again on A5 on Cliff, or both teams going to decide to fight in the middle. It's been a lot since Grand Finals. Cliff has slowed a lot down from the defending side, I'd say. They still take some positions, but not full-out engagements anymore, especially with the introduction of the grill.
Yes, but even when you see a grill now, you can more or less anticipate where it is. If you get the control of the middle of the map, you can put people on blind positions and just shell it away all the way and see where will it fall down, dead or alive or whatever. But there are not many spots you can actually put that grill in and make it useful, which is one or two. And everything except that is a huge risk. From the start of the game, you will know is he on 1-2 line or up there. And no one keeps in 1-2 line because he's quite useless there.
Seeing Utopia so far play, though, I think it's going to be very aggressive. They haven't camped yet, but let's take a look at the lineups. We've seen them play so far, even on mines deciding to go full aggressive.
Yeah, definitely a lot of aggressive approaches, but so far it didn't pay off. So they might actually change the tactics a bit, but
It seems like I didn't look before we got I didn't look at the sheet. We have the tank picks in front of us. Didn't look the gorilla.
it's a really strong pick by Utopia. They're on defense, guys, if anyone is questioning. So they have Grilla and 2 tier 9 bots. It's a really nice setup, plus TVP to help out Grill and have some kind of ground control because of the fast clipping. On the other hand, Knäckebröd playing with Ru, so I guess his play should come from 1-2 line and give an easy spot there, and then we will see how.
KB deciding to go with an RU. I kind of like the tier 9 batchats from Utopia, especially in this one. If you decide to go defensive, the tier 8, he can do an initial spot, but after that, most of the game, it's going to be pretty useless, I would say. But tier 9 batchats, they can still do the opening spot, they can still do the same spots, and they can still do everything else. But it does seem like our teams are ready. Can Utopia come back, or is KB going to run away with it? Let's find out as we move into Cliff.
Cliff, the most dynamic map in the league. Battles on Cliff always turn into desperate double-edged fights. Teams start from the same spots as they do in standard battles. The first base is located near the defender's spawn point, and the second is at the bottom of the hill. Sometimes teams split their forces and send several tanks through the 1-2 line to the left of the small hill, but usually both teams play at the center. The attacking team can send one of the tanks up to the lighthouse or behind it. Fast and quick-firing vehicles are better suited for this map, mainly medium tanks, including tanks equipped with autoloaders.
You can see here already Tarantula fairly common, and KB again. This is pretty similar to what we saw them do against out of range. If you remember, a lot of tanks into the 1-2 line.
But if Oops.
Oops, hello?
Hello. If they're smart, they would actually not commit, and they didn't. Now they are going through the middle. That was a nice special effect, but we are back in a game. So KB is with Failware and Seneleon doing the new climb there. It's not that new,
It's
but
not
it's
that new. It's not that hard.
often seen.
I can explain what the essence of it is here. You can see Failware is going to stand still now. Then he's going to drive forward and wiggle left and right a little bit.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Yeah, it gives you traction. You can see Xana as well. Oh, they do it differently. They just drop down and then drive up. That's the same way. Otherwise, you just wiggle, because wiggling in the game, like AD, it gives you extra traction.
What is important here, besides wiggling is always good, is that they're here unspotted guys. So Utopia at the moment has no clue that actually Knäckebröd already has the control of the hill. So we have a good crossfire now between the two opposing Knäckebröd sides, while Utopia is somewhere in the middle on default spots, and we will see how will Muka survive this game.
Tarantula getting spotted there, but that RU251 shouldn't be in a lot of trouble. But it's something Utopia should suspect that they're going to take that hill. It's fairly common by now. There's two ways to do it. There's the around the mountain, and it's the one they did. It's fairly common by now for teams to go up that hill through there. So it's something they expect, and Muka should be able to counter it. But Leech Bear has to be careful here. Second batch of moving with Diablo is in a trap there, and see how much Diablo is able to do as he drops down and taking a lot of damage here already. The tier 9 batch shot not working at all as Leech Bear picks him up, and Muka is spotted here in that Gorilla.
And that's what we spoke. This is really a problem for him, because this is the only position you can really make him look effectively, and it's really easily spotted when someone pushes like that from down.
And he fell to
dead.
He dropped to dead, so Muka is out of this one as well. Dropped a little bit bad on the ground and is now dead. Utopia is trying to make a play here, trying to recover. Shoku taking a lot on this one as well though, so still KB in favor. Failware is now out of ammo, but so is
Miloš is on reload. Miloš is on reload.
But Bistro at the same time taking a lot of damage as well, and it's not looking good for Utopia in
so
this
much
one.
desperation moves by them, but nothing works because Knäckebröd is always step ahead.
Now Shuka getting tracked by Tarantula, stays alive with his 4 guys against the 6 of KB, and it just looks like KB is like out-thinking Utopia every step of the way. Diablo not working out, Muka getting spotted.
Wilko's gonna get wrecked now because he is definitely in the middle of Utopia forces. So Wilkun is already under attack there, and he will fall in the next second. Forbidden, he may try to cover the corner or climb from the other side, but I don't think it will even matter at the moment.
Miloš is trying to do what he can in this one, as he does have his entire clip available. Drops Brati low, but you can just see Forbidden is as good as dead. Did he drop for that amount of HP? Because he just lost it all of a sudden. As now Miloš, no HP.
Forbidden was shot by the guys.
Tarantula picks up Shuku, and there's just 2 guys left for Utopia, and this is getting a lot more one-sided than we expected.
Holy Knäckebröd.
Holy Knäckebröd. As now Miloš has to get out of there as well on 36 HP, Forbidden on 73. Failware picks him up now. Tarantula coming from the other side, and it is looking pretty bad for Utopia. This is not good, Utopia. They have to bounce back from this one. This round is completely over.
TW Gaming managed to throw 3-0. Maybe Knäckebröd will too.
Now this is not looking good. Now 3-0
It's all rainbows
down.
and ponies, mate. All rainbows and ponies now.
We know Utopia had issues before being up and losing a lead, but now they're down 3-0, and KB is going to be on the defensive
The
side.
biggest problem is they even don't look prepared to counter any of this, because Hellfish and the guys already thought 3 steps ahead. If we see this, we are doing this. You could see the development of their plan from the start. They practically drew a map by the pick of Utopia, and the guys were already en route how to deal with that. They had a solution for every situation for that. The guys climbing the hill, guys covering them from other side. Then the guys from the other side just going and taking out that single climber from Utopia. In the same moment, spotting the Grille. Grille getting shot from all the sides. The fact that he just dropped down and died, it didn't change the fact he would still be as much as
he
dead.
would still be as dead.
I believe Muka is gonna delete all the tank destroyers from the game now, because it's not really looking good.
I don't like that position from the Owl. That position, you could see him in the wall line. I'm not a fan. You throw
we
away,
already seen last week. It's
throw
really
away,
weak.
You throw it away a tier 9 bat shot for what? It's expected at this point. It was fun the first time. It worked the first time, but teams keep it into consideration now, and you could see Diablo just go wrecked.
Yeah, it would be kind of better if you had a lower spotter, someone who could actually announce someone coming to chase it.
There's somebody in the bushes on the A2 position that runs away to A5 after in those bushes.
And there are a lot of positions you can run after to, and then
Yeah.
he can do a crossfire, the guys from other
On
side.
the entrance to the base. On
Yes,
the entrance to the
and
base,
other
you
guys
spot and
can
run
shoot
away.
from another side, so it's not totally lost. But still, Knäckebröd would have a solution for that also because they already had guys up on a hill. That's a crucial moment, those two guys climbing there. So guys, climbing skills in randoms and Golden League will bring you advantages.
Utopia did try to make a counterplay, but at that point, Diabol is dead. Muka is dead.
There was no counterplay anymore.
You try and push the hill,
All
but
the
Muka
positions
still
were
dies.
taken.
You trade evenly against their bad shots. Both of them are on reload.
There was nothing to win anymore. The positions were completely lost. They were outplayed. Again, this is the third game in a row they are outplayed.
This is not looking good, but let's take a look at stats here and we can see exactly what went so wrong for Utopia. Miloš, he did what he could, got both of his clips pretty much off.
Miloš doing really nice damage, 3.5k. He's pretty 10 out of 10, I would say. 2 clips that he managed to do, but Lichbear, a newcomer in the team, 2.7k. A nice surprise.
Lichbear so far doing pretty well. In
And
that
Muka, 0 again.
Wilkie Diabol Muka. Pishu. It's forbidden. Nobody getting more than pretty much 3 shells in. This is not what you expect from a team like Utopia. We have to point on it again. We talked about them not knowing. I mean, they've known it from the past, from previous seasons, but this season coming in, they've only been on comfortable leads. They've never been under pressure. Now, the pressure is on. After those first 2 rounds, not sure what's going wrong.
Problem is they're playing too technical and mechanical. They're really not responding well to the situations, and they're constantly caught off guard. I really like the approach of Knäckebröd so far. In the first game, they were playing, I guess, too nervous to do something like this. This is much more sentient approach, and it's really nice to watch.
It's working out for KB so far. They look stronger than last
Sneaky fish.
season. Last season they were very inconsistent, I would say.
Yeah, they had
Very
the
hit or
ups
mid
and
performance.
downs, and I would say they were even overconfident in some moment because of some successful rounds that costed them quite a lot. But this much time, this is a lot to mature.
Let's take a look at the lineups here in our 4th round. I'm still going to be on Cliff and KB going with that Grilla as well. Not a real surprise.
But
in
they have a
Utopia.
T49.
T49. Well, he can go on the ramp and pretty much shoot down on anybody in the middle, for example.
Yes,
for
and
the
he
first
can
shot.
also be on a bush down, spot down lane, shoot there and run away also. So they can use him in multiple times and they can protect their Grilla much more efficiently than Utopia.
I still like Utopia's lineup as well, though. Those tier 9 bad shots. I've been a fan so far. They're very good
50B,
for
that's
pushing.
kind of a new one.
Well, we know Diador used to like to use a lot, but it does look our game is ready. Can KB come on to match point, or is Utopia going to come back? Let's find out as we move into our 4th round here between these two. KB is now going to be on the defensive side. Fairly common start from them. Hellfish going to go to A5, and Utopia doing a 4-3 split. Not uncommon. Tarantula.
A lot of guys.
Oh, he's doing a boost Tarantula, actually. Pretty sure
yeah,
he
he's
is.
gonna boost from there. Nice.
Yeah, he's doing the D2 boost.
Tarantula, we want to see you right now, Spiderino.
You
Nice.
can see here, he gets a bush, which is the most important part. He can sit in this bush, wait, shoot, and get out again.
Let's do some damage, Tarantula. Well, he took some damage. He
He
didn't fire.
shot, and he didn't hit, and he got shot in return. Well, that is very anticlimactic.
Yes, that's not very cool. We were expecting, come on, do the Granzor at 1k damage or something. But never mind. At least Hellfish is really well covered here because now Utopia knows approximately where he is, but they will have a really tough time actually spotting him.
Crooks also did a climb, but that one is not as useful mostly. Brati is on that ramp position, taking some damage here. Doesn't look like he wants to take the hill, taking a lot of more damage here. Has to be careful. Now Miloš lining up to that boost. Bishu already did it. This one, the players should know. Brati taking even more damage, even more, and he's going to go down.
Throw!
What a play! Why would you do this? The hill control you lose anyways as Miloš fails the boost. And KB, now, I don't know if this is nervousness or a bad call, but sending Brati up there was a suicide.
That was a nonsense. They knew what angles Utopia actually controls, and now Utopia is in needless advantage of 2k HP and 1 gun. What will they do now? Knäckebröd at the moment controls the hill, that's fine. They have Hellfish covering them.
But this hill control is not something they can keep, because it's very easy for Utopia, For every bot shot KB sends, they can send another one and another one
And no one can
and
shoot
another
it
one.
because that side is much more
Exactly.
favorable. And Brati, if he was a smart one, he wouldn't do climb from that side. He would do it also
There's
from the
two
back
other
side.
climbs. There's a climb in D8 that you can do to get up the hill, and there's the climb on F9. Well, E8, F9. I don't know why he chose that one. Maybe he thought he wouldn't be spotted, but...
Too many numbers. Let's just say usual way and a back way. And he didn't use the back way.
See Papa Pavian now. He might be doing the... trying to get a shot on Sana, actually.
He's actually just positioning, so when these guys start to fight there and these guys try to maybe fall off or angle, he can do free shots.
Now you can see what Utopia does. They send 3 bat shots up to counter the 2. Papa Pavian's in a position as well where you can shoot them if they fall off. Leech Bear now coming up as well, and this looks like a good advantage for Utopia. Filwer has to drop off.
Bihu. That's quite a lot of HP lost for no reason, mate. No one needs to be a solo hero here.
A little bit of overcommitment from Bihu, but still they forced those 2 bat shots off, and this is not looking good for KB. Shuku now going over. The Gorilla not connecting, surprisingly.
Failure really failed this time because
And
he
he
opened
missed.
himself to get shot from the other side. That is not needed.
Now
But
Shuku survives as well, and Xana in a lot of trouble here. Also drives down.
how many shells Milos has more?
1 more, I think. But
Oh,
Bishu has 3.
Xane chose to shoot Bihu and he missed.
Now 3 tanks advantages for Utopia. KB is absolutely throwing away this game for no reason at this point. Making a lot of misplays, not sure why they wanted hill control that badly. Now Muka should be able to spot out Hellfish here as Crooks picks up Papa Pavian, but still, Utopia with the advantage. Nice shell though, nice shell from Tarantula. Actually connecting this with Hellfish now getting spotted. Not looking good for KB in this one, Mojo.
Oh, Hellfish is gonna get wrecked. Like that's quite a weakness of the STD because once you get spotted there is nowhere to run. I think things will really shortly kind of give
I don't
up
like the
on using
position
the
for
Gorilla.
a Gorilla. I don't like something that has not the greatest camo value, something that gets spotted very easily, and especially something that can't really bounce anything or run.
Honestly, I would even prefer a medium there because he shouldn't just run away
TVP
fast.
works there as well. 4 shells.
Leopard, whatever.
I don't know about the Leopard, but it's now just Crooks and Leech Bear left in this one. Leo, just, I don't know, it doesn't work in the later part of the game.
Yeah, true, but TVP is kind of big and bulky. You need something lower profile there. Maybe
I
even a
just
tier 9
don't feel
Bacha.
like that position is too predictable.
Yeah, but you can put a tier 9 Bacha there, let's say as example. If you play with 7 big tanks instead of 1 light, it's quite usable.
Now Leech Bear is the last one standing. 1 shell comes in, 2nd shell comes in. That's going to be up. Utopia pick up their 1st round. But I feel like KB there.
Yeah, I would say KB threw this one and Utopia finally had something to grab on because KB gave no opening so far.
KB gave a massive opening. Brati, you should never drive up that way of the hill anymore.
Naughty little boy.
You shouldn't drive. There's so many new ways to drive up the hill. You know, I don't know why you still choose the way that is exposed, is easily spottable, and especially if you know Utopia has 1 2-line control and you know if you get spotted, you are dead.
The fact is that Utopia practically played identical tactic in attack as Knäckebröd, and Brati should have known better. That was a rookie mistake.
After that, Utopia did exactly what we said. For every batch that KB has on the hill, Utopia sends 1 extra to make sure they win that hill engagement. And they already won.
And they already have 1 more.
Yeah. So they send 1 batch shot extra for every tank KB has on there, because they have that extra tank, they have that extra movement, and they know the Gorilla could even send 2 batch shots extra, because you know the Gorilla, he's not going to get there all the time.
Yeah, after that Brati move, it was kind of a free win. Utopia just found the right way to end it without too much effort. But okay, we are where we thought, 1-1 on Cliff. So we are going to the next map now.
Now, Ghost Town, this is the opportunity for Utopia to come back. I mean, the KB has to attack first, if I get it right. So look at some of the highlights here from last round. You can see here Brati, that was...
Not smart, not
that
good,
was
not
nonsense.
anything.
That was complete nonsense. Milos failed the boost, but it didn't matter at that point. With 10 minutes, he had enough time to do it 4 times if he wanted to. And then those bad shots just getting caught out. Nothing to be done for KB in that one. Silly plays, really silly plays from KB. Expected
Usually,
more.
like someone who makes a big mistake like that usually costs their team around, but you need to snap out of it, go to the next one. They're still 3-1, and Ghost Town is the next map to play. Now,
Didn't Utopia 2-0 Swift on Ghost Town?
Utopia actually 2-0 go hard They played only one game against
Oh, yeah.
Swift,
My bad.
and it was that cap.
Oh, yes, I remember. So Utopia have a pretty good track record on
Yes,
Ghost Town. But
they have decent track record, but they were kind of shaky against Go Hard, but they won everything with aggressive play. On other hand, KB, not so good record there.
let's take a look at the stats for that last round, though. I'm trying to think if I have anybody in this match, Mojo. Do you have any of these players in your fancy team?
Not anymore.
Oh, I have Miloš, though. I have Miloš. I remember that. So he's been farming me some pretty good points.
Oh well, I guess I'll get some good points tomorrow.
Well, I mean, Mojo, do you want to remind the people who of us was before the other fantasy? Because
We will see after this week.
I think I'm
We said
for-
it early in the season.
But as you can see, Shuko here doing what he did. You know, good damage there. Not spectacular, but still good damage. The rest of the team pretty evenly spread here. And we can see the real issue there for KB lies in Bratty and Hellfish, who both did 0 damage. I feel like Hellfish should have been able to connect at least one shell on that hill.
Yeah, but there was literally, you could see maybe a top of a turret in some moment, something like that. And by the time he was already spotted and annihilated. No, definitely I think Grille will be from now on no-go on that map.
Now, I'm still going to favor Utopia in this one, right? Ghost Town coming in. They defend first. If they don't let KB just cap the base,
I'm gonna go with 1-1 again.
I feel like
I kind of think that KB left this map on purpose because they had a lot of mistakes to learn upon, and they had a lot of opportunity to see how Utopia plays. And Utopia, by what we saw, does not change habits that hard again.
that was one of the issues with them. Take a look at the lineups here for the next round to elaborate more on that point. It was one of the issues with Utopia that we mentioned before last season. They had very good tactics, but they were very hesitant of switching out of them.
Definitely, and the only thing we saw, maybe last time on Himmelsdorf, they swapped tactics with that 8-line rush that kind of surprised the enemy. But here, pretty balanced setup, I would say, on both sides. Utopia as a defending team using Rue. I can't say I like that. I'm really disliking that Rue lately.
I'm starting to dislike the Raid Lights in general. I just feel like the tier 9 bat shot provides so much more potential, so much more tactical openings, so much more aggressive plays that the tier 8 light is getting a little bit redundant in my opinion. The only thing that I can see them use the RU for is for boosting. But let's see, can Utopia come back, or is KB going to get onto match point as we move into Ghost Town?
Ghost Town. The first absolutely symmetrical map, made especially for 7 versus 7 games. The teams start the battle on opposite sides. There are numerous ways to attack here. One of the bases is located in the central square, the other one at the top of the city. The hardest battles are usually fought for the top base, and this calls for the use of heavy tanks. Sometimes the teams choose fast tanks for spotting and base capturing.
So we have it here, and elaborating on the point, I think Papapaun is doing what I said. The tier 8 light is the only useful thing here is if you boost him. That's the one time I agree with tier 8 light, because you don't want to waste your points. That's Papapaun flunks it completely.
I believe because Knäckebröd is not playing that offensive that side, he will have maybe 3 more opportunities. But so far they already know what's going on and they don't need him there. So he's going actually again.
Wilkie could in a lot of trouble here though, as he's going to be the first one on the chopping board for the boys from KB. Everybody from KB there, 4 times there from KB. Leech Bear with 3 more shells, and it does look like Wilkie could. But in the return, Tarantula goes down, and now Hellfish as well. There's 2 bad shots moving in. Hellfish should be the next one here, getting focused in at 113s. There's 50 DBs, not sure how many shells they have left. Miloš also taking a lot of damage here. Shuko and Bishu now coming in. If they can pick up Hellfish, Miloš will fall in return, but it's still an even exchange so far.
It's a really, really hell of a battle now, guys, and I'm really enjoying to see this. But at the moment, I would say Utopia has some... No, they don't have advantage anymore because constant shooter of Knäckebröd are here in the game. And Utopia has to run away because they're all on reload.
Utopia has 4 clippers. Bishu is stuck and he goes down. Shuko is slow, he's on reload. Crooks and Leech Bear are off reload. And it's all onto Muka and Forbidden. They need to connect every single shell in this clip as Sanaleon drops low here. He does go down, but Muka will fall in returns to an even trade. Now Forbidden on reload, he has to run, he has to get out of there.
And Papavian, SD8 Light is carrying 1/3 of their HP. That's nonsense. So that's why we don't actually like those lights anymore, because in this kind of brawl, they're a burden.
Once Crooks gets off reload, Papapawian is done for. Now Forbidden in a lot of trouble here. The 50B when he's on reload, there's nothing to be done. Papapawian getting clipped by that 50B. Crooks decides to go for Forbidden instead, though doesn't manage to pick him up. Shuku picks him up, still getting a little bit closer, but there's two FE21, that 50B and FE215B. So much HP on Failware, not much to be done here. And Papapawian, that tier 8 light, the last one standing, as it is going to be KB. Picking up match points here in a very, very quick round, and as we were seeing, those tier 8 lights, if they had 2 tier 9 bad shots, and
they would actually be able to
they would probably win that.
But Knäckebröd ultra aggressive, maybe learning from Oops, because that's how Oops wrecked them when they were defending.
That's why I don't like that.
And they had the light then.
That's why I don't like where they're sending Wilkie in that FE215B, because he is slow. I'd rather have a much faster tank there, or what you see a lot of teams do, they just put a bad shot spotter there. He spots,
yeah, even Kazna pushed there, but TVB actually greeted them with a crossfire of maybe 5 tanks. You could see 3 of Kazna.
Yeah, they didn't have Wilkie Kud. Wilkie Kud just died for free pretty much. I don't like FE215B there. It's too slow. If the enemy team decides to push straight on, you see what happened to him. And then so much Clippers on the Utopia side. If they brought 2 tier 9 bad shots, they could have had another extra heavy that could take some damage.
KB reading the positions of Utopia again perfectly. Like they have a global set map, something, you know, and they're watching on them. All Huxies are in the game. But they're really, really planning their stuff good, because all the calls so far were good. The last game we've seen was a mistake of Brati, I would say, not a tactical one. But again, they're far ahead of Utopia. Utopia is just limping behind them.
Now, this is what I love about this season so far. So far, KB has lost 1 match, and looks like they're going to pick up their second one here. But in the meantime, Utopia didn't lose anything so far. This brings the rankings even closer again.
We have 2 match days that will happen during this week, and after that, you're going to have, again, a turmoil, I would say.
Let's take a look at the stats from that last round, though, and I hope Miloš got a lot of damage out. Oh, no, might have ripped my points.
Rip you.
But Failware in that FE215B had a field there, though. Field day there. A lot of 50Bs he could shoot at. Bad shots all on reload. That's where the FE215B thrives.
Crooks and Lichbear, definitely the leaders of their team. Pretty even score by all. Papapavi and tier 8 light doing quite a lot. I would say 2Ks, that's quite a lot. But still,
if he did it in a tier 9 bad shot, he might have been able to save some of his teammates, though.
Yeah, still that damage usually comes late. It takes him time to get to position, then he snipes. But it's already over for most of the heavy hitters, so they're just ignoring him for half of the time.
Let's see there. Once Crooks came off reload, pretty much ignored him, put 2 shells in. There, Miloš, not great. Died after Wilkie Kud and still only managing to connect.
Also, I would say that Utopia didn't change the defense of their Ghost Town, because as far as I remember, they had practically all the same.
It feels like exactly the same thing.
Yeah. And they had a really close game on Ghost Town, where only Shuku remained against Gohar together with Light, if you remember.
We were talking about Utopia not changing up their style, and it doesn't look so far like
But they promised us on Skype they will do it, but what? They lied.
Not looking good in this one now.
Well, the score here says it all.
It does say it all now. Utopia, there's a few points here. One, we talked about how last season they struggled when they start losing rounds to keep their calm, cool, collect, and recover. So look at some of the highlights here. Papapavian failing the boost. We talked about how they had issues staying cool, calm, and collected once they were up a lot of rounds. And then we also talked about how they didn't manage to change their tactics often enough. But now it seems like both of these things are looking like a little bit of an issue here.
At the moment, Knäckebröd, I think all they need to do now in defense is just gather up tanks together and wait for Utopia. Somewhere. Wherever they choose, just not split up too much. Because Utopia is definitely on a tilt now. They have a lot to lose. It's a match point. It's an important match for them, because this is a team of equal skill. It will affect their standings quite a lot. And the manner in which they are losing the match so far is not looking good for them for the future.
No, this doesn't look good for Utopia. The team that currently sat undefeated. Can they do a comeback? Can they do a rage quit? Can they pull an out of range?
Oh, we will have a rage quit on the next match that will be on a test. So we will see how will they fare. But so far, the league leaders not looking so good.
not looking so good in this one as we're waiting for our teams to get ready, and it does look like they're about to get ready. So let's take a look at the lineups here as possibly our last round. Possibly Utopia coming out with triple 113, double T10. That's a very base one lineup, and KB approved lineup mojo, double 39 batch chat.
Yeah, it's totally cool because they have rotation here, they have some meat to stop them, and a lot of DPN in FUEs. This is the most balanced lineup. The only thing they must really take care of is not to put those FVs somewhere on a total front line, because we saw how that ends up. You need a buffer for an FV heavy so he can actually do the DPM and all those brilliant shots.
That was the issue for Utopia in that last round.
Because all the Clippers...
Wilkie died, Miloš died, and those were the FV215Bs. In return, Failware managed to stay alive, pretty much wrecking.
Yeah, he kept pumping and pumping the damage, and Utopia, after emptying their bursts, they had no one to do the damage anymore, except Ru.
Except Ru.
Yeah, throwing rocks and tanks doesn't work that much.
It's going to be interesting to see how KB decided to do this one, but it does look like our game is ready. So let's move into our 6th round here between these two. KB currently on match point, still on to Ghost Town here, and Mojo. I'm wondering what the plan is for KB, as it might be a very aggressive boost. Nobody going for the boost so far, and only Shuku here with Tarantula and Sane.
Why would you even bother boosting anyone with such a lineup? This is a fight lineup. You need to stick together. We already spoke about it. They're doing some spots. Ooh, Leech Bear. No, no, no.
I was hoping.
No one has a reload there.
I was hoping that Tarantula and Sane just throw straight at Shuku and just murdered him. But here, Leech Bear, fairly common position. We talked about this before. A4, very strong, unless you manage to take that B4 position.
Same with Bihu there on the A0. But looking at the positions of Utopia, Bihu's position was really risky because some teams actually know to rush AB line. In that fact, Bihu would die right there on spot because there was no one to help him. But Utopia seems to be gathering for 2 cap attack. That's a new one.
This 2-cap attack is very hard, as we've seen. They need to put a lot of pressure and make KB to an overcommitment, because in reality, the only thing KB really has to do is push Crooks into, not Crooks, but one of their FE215Bs into E4 to reset, and it does look like Utopia is just gearing up for a push here. You can see them all lined up, and I think Brati gonna have to be careful in this one.
Oh, that's quite a lot of tanks in 1 cap. Let's see how will Knäckebröd gather up to deal with this, because positioning like this gives a great opening to Utopia to counterattack. Something they like to do a lot.
Shuku is getting caught out alone here. Those 2 batch shots are not together, but still working out so far. Shuku drops to a 1-shot. Does pick up Tarantula here, so it's looking actually better now.
Because Bihu actually managed to come on time. And Brati is caught alone here.
Brati is caught alone, though. That entire push from Utopia. Forbidden is the man that's been left behind, and everybody else.
What are you doing, Papa Pavian?
Papa Pavian, I think he's seen in this one, as Papa Pavian does seem to have dropped, I think. Not sure, but Forbidden does go down, and Papa Pavian actually didn't drop.
Well, let's not bother with Papa Pavian. This is a pretty equal game so far.
It's very even so far. Muko tried to do what they can, but still that FE215B from Failware is alive as he goes down here in Utopia with a small advantage, I'd say, as those tier 9, as those batch shots. When they come off reload, they can do a lot of damage here.
Will be very shortly out of the reload, and they know it. That's why Leech Bear and Hellfish are pushing so far.
But I mean, going back to the Papa Pavian point here, as Sana goes down, he's not a factor in this match, so ignore Papa Pavian's HP, but it looks good for Utopia, so his Hellfish is now the next one. Diablo trying to get around that corner, Hellfish getting tracked again. Crooks here, that 113, very hard to pin close range, and now Hellfish is the next one. And it does look like Utopia managed to stabilize, and the ammo rack onto Miloš, he goes kaboom,
well,
and he's
that
out of
looked
there.
Really effective, but will Bihu have the same reload as Crooks maybe? Dibble is on 1 shot. This will be a really tricky one now.
They need Papa Pavian in this one.
And he's back in
He's
game.
back. He's back.
He's back.
Ooh. So Papa Pavian getting back in this one now. Team damage coming in from Diablo onto Pichu, making the game a little bit closer here, but still.
Yeah, that was kind of not needed because Crooks can now kill him actually, but they will come in and finish him off.
As Crooks does finish off Bishu, and it's gonna be, who's it going to be? It's gonna be Papa Pavian, I guess, to close out the game as he comes back. And that looked very hectic, and I was really worried for Utopia at one point because Shuku drove into two tier 9 batch shots, and the mistake is they didn't block him. He got away.
Yes, Shuku got there recklessly. There was a
But
few
he got
seconds.
away. They didn't block him.
Yeah, there was a few seconds gap between him and his teammate, so they were not joined up. So that was a misplay by Knäckebröd not finishing him off. That was a big problem. Also, I really don't understand Brati doing mistake again. Like, this was not a small mistake to stay there alone. Okay, you are there for decap, but then why didn't Knäckebröd, why didn't they foresee this? Because that was the best option
It looks
Utopia
exactly
could
like
do.
what Rage Quit did, if you
Exactly.
remember.
You just push straight with your massive amount of tanks and guns. You go around the corner, take out a significant shooter, important shooter like Brati in FE is, and then you deal with the rest.
Forbidden did get caught on that one, but the T10, I mean, they traded Brati for that, so it was totally worth it at that point. And KB kind of flunking the defense of that one, like a little bit overcommitted on that cap, and then the tier 9
Looks like
batch
we're
shots.
gonna see a Himmelsdorf after all.
And the tier 9 batch shots not blocking where I wanted them to block Shuku. Losing that fight, which in reality they should have possibly won with the surprise, and then
They should have closed the
Utopia
deal
even
there.
won without Papapauyan in the
Yes,
game.
if those budgets of Knäckebröd actually managed to kill Shuku and win that side, they would win the game because they would come and start flanking and wiping the tanks of Utopia, especially with Papapavian out of the game. That would be the crucial part because otherwise, if he was there all the time, it wouldn't be so close. They would have his HP, armor, gun all the time, so that's a couple of 1,000 damage that is missing here.
Let's take a look at the stats from that last round, though. Very nervous plays from KB here in Utopia. Very aggressive still, very risky.
Yes, but it was okay plan. Like they saw was the positions of Knäckebröd, and they chose to play the best game they can. A lot of tanks on one spot and push when you see someone. That's the best Utopia style.
It reminded me completely like Rage Quit, who brought exactly the same lineup as they did, pretty much. Although it was 5-1-1-3s and 2 tier 9 bad shots then, the same lineup in essence, the same plan. Now working out though.
I think Rage Quit didn't even stop for a cap.
They stayed on the cap for a little bit and then pushed off. And Brati here still
But
managed to land 3
they
shells.
didn't drive 2 laps. I mean, Utopia didn't drive 2 laps around the buildings. Oh, Trentula.
The tier 9 batches should have been able to do a lot more in this one. Some miscommunication perhaps between
Maybe
the two.
he's not that experienced.
They
on
might have
fire
been
tanks.
surprised when they saw Shuku and that's why they didn't block him, but still. They managed to win that side. Could probably have won that.
That's what I'm thinking.
What a punishment are we giving to Diablo, by the way, for team damaging?
Oh man, I would smack him definitely. Take some part of his money.
Wow, Mojo, that's a little bit too much. We look at some of the highlights here. Brati, and that's the moment Papapavian dropped out of the game. Oh, that was so he was just driving in circles.
It's really not a good moment for Utopia to lose a player.
Understatement.
The worst moment would be actually if he just DC'd on a cap and stayed there, because then he would die and they might have lost the game. So maybe this was actually a lucky coincidence. It happened in this moment.
Milosh went kaboom.
Yeah.
Which was pretty like a good and a sad moment as I saw my fantasy points just
Fly away.
and thin flames coming out of the engine of that tank.
But well-deserved victory for Utopia. Double that because they had a disconnect and still won. Triple that because they had a guy that was off position, as Shuku was, and he still survived. So KB, you totally deserve this loss, but they have still a match point.
Now moving into Himmelsdorf, just quickly checking who's going to be defending, and it's going to be KB though.
Defending.
KB.
KB, definitely. I looked it up.
Now, Himmelsdorf defense is not the easiest anymore. Now, if Utopia bring those 2 to 9 bad shots and rush to 8 line again, they deserve to lose.
Yeah, KB has a perfect record on Himmelsdorf so far. They lost both games they played.
Perfect track record, one way or another, you could say.
At least they had a brilliant HE idea on attack. It was kind of a problem more in realization later, but they had a huge advantage.
Let's take a look at the lineups. When if I see Gorilla and tier 9 batches for Utopia, I'm going to be disappointed.
And there we go.
Now, this looks like exactly the same lineup, and they played this twice already. The first time it didn't work out at all because Gohard wrecked him. Muka and TD didn't manage to do a single damage. And the second time it did work, but again, if they do exactly the same thing, KB is going to counter them. Double E3, Ice Force,
even the last time it only worked because they ran in that 50B alone. 3 of them clipped him, and then just everyone fought, and that was the victory with a free tank, basically. But look at the heavy hitters on Knäckebröd, like 2 E3s, a 57 for clipping, Ice 4. Like there is a little of everything in this game. And CDC. What do you think where will they use CDC?
They put the Ice 4 hold down behind them.
You think, they will use him instead of Oni?
They'll use him They're going to put in E3 and E5 to cover the 5 line because it's very hard to pen, very hard to deal with, which we've seen before. Then the IS4 will sit behind the CDC and we'll reset the cap that way. Not sure what the second E3 could be used for. Rails, windows over there perhaps.
One on window, one on a pocket. But this tactic is called bring it on.
Bring it on. It does seem like KB wants to bring it on. And let's see if they manage to close out this game, or is Utopia going to come back? So we move into Himmelsdorf.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
And as we can see, Tarantula in that CDC. We're gonna have to see how he decides to position himself. And Utopia, very aggressive into the 1-2 line, but it doesn't seem like KB wants to do anything over there. As we said, not the A3 and A5, but an A4 and one at the C3 window. So,
Well, Knäckebröd definitely has no spotters, so they're not gonna even bother. They are just gonna take their positions and wait for Utopia to try and make a move. Now, what would be the weak link in this kind of lineup? Old school approach, pushing on C3, maybe that would actually be the weakest spot of defense for them.
now, for me, the issue is that now they don't have a turret light, so it's going to be very hard to actually cap the base, and it's going very, very aggressive from Utopia here, rushing down that 1-2 line. They want to catch Brady again, as Forbidden gets distracted by Sun in that E3, and can Hellfish land the shot as well? It does look like Hellfish should be able to, so Forbidden might take even more damage here, as Hellfish does land the shot, goes down to one shot, Shuku down to one shot as well.
Pay attention to the HP, how it's melting, usually in Knäckebröd's favor, because they have heavy hitters and armor tanks compared to the paper Utopia brought on Himmelsdorf fight.
Now, you just look at the HP, Forbidden one shot, Shuku one shot, and Brati and Leechbear should be able to hold that corner. They can't really push it anymore. And now Milos, Diablo, and Papapa are going to have to deal with a double E3, sorry, and it's not going to work out well. There's CDC from Tarantula even coming in.
I think Tarantula is actually, he's going to be in a world of pain now, because those guys can just peek around the corner and knock him out, but Brat is falling already.
Yeah, Brati tried to push around, and very aggressive. Tarantula falls now as well, and a very aggressive push on that A-line, unneeded, not even killing anybody. So Brati going aggressive for no reason there, and Muka and that Gorilla might be able to do something in this one, as now Hellfish is pushing up, and Leechbear only one shot left and goes down to a one shot as well. So actually, getting a lot more even here as Muka picks up Hellfish, who goes aggressive for no reason. And Xana is trying to flank through the 3 line, and Failware is all alone with, and Crooks from the window can't even help him. Sana in that E3, not the greatest option here, tries to flank from the side. Failware does bounce the shell here, should be able to pick up Milosh. Papapavian going for Crooks. Xana does pick up Milosh. Diablo bounces on Failware and getting a little bit more close here, but still Xana in that E3.
I think this is Utopia's game, because Knäckebröd is definitely throwing the game business at the moment. I really don't like how some of those players played. Look at now, Xana Leon dying. Leechberry reload, and he will fall now, though Bifu missed the first shell, it didn't matter.
And
why did that?
Muka's Grilla working out perfectly in this one, and KB making plays where there are none to be made, and that's going to be it. KB now loses the round. Utopia comes back 4-3, and
We're gonna see another turnover.
another tiebreaker.
Like seriously?
Now, okay, let's go to that round step by step, right? Utopia, very aggressive play, 1-2 line. Yes, okay, agreeable. Forbidden getting absolutely smacked in his bat shot. Not sure what Leechbear is doing, because he loses all of his HP without trading any. So then Utopia has that position. Nothing they can really do with it, because there's 2 guys waiting for them to peek around. Muka and that Gorilla, not a factor in that round yet. Tarantula comes from behind, shows away his CDC. Mistake number 1. Right?
The biggest mistake in this game was from Tarantula, who approached the big heavy hitters instead of as a fast CDC, just staying around and watching the perimeter from distance.
So second mistake then coming in. Brati pushes forward, doesn't do anything to this bat chat, dies. Leechbear
This is the third game in a row he made a mistake.
Leechbear had 4 shells, Didn't do any damage with them. Dropped down to a one-shot, dropped down to one shot. Mistake number 3. Hellfish pushes forward, gets wrecked by the Gorilla. Mistake number 4. Why are you pushing with an E3? It doesn't push very well, and there's a Gorilla there. Then mistake number 5, Xana decides to drive into the 3 line with an E3, who has no speed. And then Utopia just takes the
just handing the game to
overmatch.
Utopia.
Easy overmatch onto, I think it was Failware, and then Crooks can't do anything either. And Utopia just take the round for free because KB decides to throw it away. Let's take a look at stats though. 5 mistakes in one round is going to cost you so much, and that Gorilla working out only because KB decided to drive straight at him.
First game we saw Muka actually do damage in a TD. Yay!
Why are you trying to push any E3s?
No, why did the Cascade event start? Why did CDC do that stupid play?
Why did
Brati do that stupid play? Those two are to blame for this round 100% because they were off positions for no reason.
Well, the E3 is also Xane driving into 3 line with E3. You just know that they're going to see that. This is like, if full HP E3 trying to push anywhere, you just drive around him.
A lot of inexperience coming here in some dramatic moments. They have a match point, but it's not won.
You see these E3, Hellfish at 1.4 and Xana did 1 shot, but those was early damage. They didn't do anything after the first shot on the bot shots. Nothing. It didn't hit anything.
Leech Bear, that's only 1 shell penned out of 4.
We said it. He had 4 shells. Him and Brati went aggressive. Him and Brati both went aggressive. Brati fell, did 0 damage to any of the bot shots. None of the air HP bars moved closer, moved down. And then Leech had 4 shells when we last saw him. We came back onto him, and he has 1 shell and dies. Very, very weird plays.
A lot of misplays here coming from Knäckebröd after all the praises we gave them.
I'm not sure what's going on, if it's bad calls, nervousness, but it does seem like getting on match point is costing them that. Let's take a look at the lineups here coming into our 8th round. And what do you think, Mojo?
I would say they are just too anxious because they have a match point. Finally, important game for
I feel like
them.
they just want to close it too quickly.
Yes. Like, guys, calm down, make the game play. Again, they have a lot of heavy hitters here. Wow, FV183, FV405, and E3. Well, this is kind of an old lineup that you would see mainly Russians start.
It was a lineup based to counter the defending team picking E3.
Only thing difference would be you would have usually 1 Waffen there, which doesn't exist anymore, and they definitely don't want to use Grille. But this was mainly it. This was the lineup.
Now, that lineup is very, very slow.
And hill-centered.
Very hill-centered. You pretty much 2 of them have to drive over the hill no matter what.
Utopia, on the other hand, playing the identical lineup they played in last match. If you remember when they pushed the 8 line together with those 2 tier 10s, cutting off the enemy.
It does seem like our game is ready, so let's get it underway. The 8th round here. Can KB close it finally? Or is Utopia going to bring it to a tiebreaker? As we said, that KB lineup very hill-centered. Those tanks cannot drive to the 8 line. And Raven is coming in.
Oh, Raven is doing his replacement for Brati. And Brati was flunking 3 games in a row, so that's kind of a reason.
Not a bad pick, but Utopia realized this as well, and they want to make an 8-line defense.
Utopia playing identical at the same time. Like, you can play coordinates on them by that.
They play this exactly against Swift. This is exactly the same thing. Papayo and Diablo will drive over that rubble pile in the middle, and then one of them will go to D8, and one of them will go to F7. They told us they were going to change tactics, but oh, the not-bend
nice
from
connection.
Muka. That could have been pretty bad for Phil there. Gets lucky. Gets lucky that it's only 800.
I would say Knäckebröd can thank the gods now, but Ducky, can you guess what's a tiebreaker map? If it comes to that. Guess
I'm
once.
not sure.
Just guess once.
Himmelsdorf?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So if Utopia wins this, guys, it's gonna be a Himmelsdorf spree. We are all happy about it, right?
I'm
ecstatic, yeah.
I'm ecstatic. I'm sparkling. I have sparkles in my eyes for this one. And now, what does KB do? This defensive side from Utopia, it's not the greatest setup to defend from the hill. The issue that KB has is that they have 2 tank destroyers which can't drive anywhere. Muka will smack one of them. If that FE 4005 from Raven gets spotted and Muka hits him, he's gone. If Crooks gets spotted, he's gone. If Leechberg gets spotted, he's also pretty much gone. So, and that lineup, it's not good for pushing off the hill. It's so slow. Coming around that corner, they'll take damage.
You need to take that hill step by step. Also, Miloš is not on a foolish position like Hellfish was. If in a game, if you remember the first game they played,
Yeah, it was not
he
that
was
far up.
caught off for no reason there. And yep, here we go. Tarantula will go full speed now and check out what's going on,
But
who's
still,
aiming where, because he cannot get spotted except by Miloš now.
Miloš is just spawning. He's not actively trying to shoot. He's just trying to spot.
Of course.
And Xane can peek in at the E3, but an FV will still ruin his day because he.
Look at how far FV is. He's out of any possible spotting range. No one knows where exactly he is, but they will anticipate he's somewhere there.
It's going to be very hard for UKB, like I said, to push this because they pretty much have really slow tanks coming around that corner. Bishu will get side shots, and Xane already taking 522
Ooh, nice shot
from
by
that
Miloš,
FV.
actually. Is that Miloš or FV
No,
that
no, no,
connected? What do you think?
522 is FV, has to be.
Okay, so you think he... Oh, yeah, true.
Nice shot from Miloš now. But now, what does KB do from this? Like, crossing, they're going to take damage. Bishu will wreck whoever comes around this corner as well. It's not looking good for KB in this one, unless Utopia makes some pretty grave mistakes here as Bishu carefully enough backs around the corner and doesn't take the second shell.
Well, Utopia learned their lesson. Not gonna throw any more free gifts.
Now, this does not look good for KB. This lineup is very slow to push off the hill. There could be a lot of easy damage. I don't like Miloš's position. It's very easy to pounce on him from two sides. I think he should go back to his original position, which he's doing now. If he stayed in A8, it would be very hard.
Yeah, he would be
It
alone,
would just be
and they
pounced
would
from
be
two
able
sides.
to flank him and take him out practically for free. But now, a lot of waiting time. 4 minutes are in. I would say Knäckebröd at the moment has no idea how to end the game, so they're in a stalemate, hoping they will connect something. But Utopia, as we said, is not in a giving business anymore.
4 minutes down. Xane is going to get slowly but surely wrecked by Muka in that FTD, and the only thing he can do is try and blind fire him. If he manages to connect this, though, it would be pretty amazing. This is a pretty big area he has to cover. Now KB trying to start the rotation, but still Diablo's in position. Papa Power is in Forbidden position. Forbidden can quickly rotate, and Shuku will spot the entire K line. So don't feel like that rotation is going to be the greatest either.
Well, a whole lot of nothing going on at the moment on the map, guys. Not much to comment on. There is a slight rotation finally coming from Failure and Tarantula, but they're already greeted on another side. Shuku is waiting for them, and Tarantula is on half HP.
Now, Shuku has to be careful here. Does land an ice shell onto Crooks. Shouldn't overstay his welcome, because Raven is also coming. Crooks taking even more damage. Shuku, please don't overstay, as he doesn't. Now, on reload, this entire rotation has been spotted out. Shuku did some nice early damage. Papa Pavian will counter-rotate, and there's still Muka in that FETD that can go wherever it's needed. And Utopia, just look at the HP. Shuku is the only one so far to receive a single shell, and they have 4,000 extra
On
on
Himmelsdorf, and
On
all the
Himmelsdorf.
positions they want. All the positions they want, they control. Even Diebel on the 8 line, he is pretty safe. There is a rubble there. He is hiding behind. There are his mates close by that can help him. They know where the majority of enemy is. Knäckebröd team is too slow to do any kind of rotation.
They need to force Utopia into a rotate, but they don't have the tanks required to make them do a rotate. So they can't make them rotate, and there are two tanks that are good for rotating out of the three. Hellfish is the third one. Don't have the HP to
You know what's
to
missing
force
for
rotations.
Knäckebröd here? The tank that could make this whole shenanigans work. Ivan Handra.
To shield the 3090
Yeah,
Navi style?
Yeah, definitely. If they would do a Navi style game here with those TDs, this would have a meaning. But
What
at the
Mojo
moment,
means Navi style is where in front of Bishu you can cap, you can flip the 3090 sideways. Yes, he will be sideways. We can cover him with the E100, making it so that you'll be safe, but they don't have an E100 right now.
also it's a good tank to push. He has a lot of armor. Approach would be easier. But like this, they're in a stalemate. They're gaining some ground slowly, but there's so much behind on HP. It's really
I want to
stressful.
see a triple peek onto Miloš here, if he is not careful. I mean, if he stayed where he was and they peeked with both FETDs, could have been pretty bad for him. And now Tarantula starts the cap. The issue with this is, though, if Muka decides to rotate to A4 at one point, he can hit that. And now it's just the waiting game. What does Utopia do to reset? Tarantula is the only thing KB has. If he dies, this round is over and we're going to a tiebreaker.
Even if he gets resetted, this would be a disaster for Knäckebröd. This is the only play they have. If it works, it works. If it's not, it's a tiebreaker.
Xana taking even more damage from Muka in that FETD. Shuku now also moving across, moving into that A4 position. I don't think he has an HE shell, so... Oh, and he gets absolutely wrecked. Shuku gifting another free tank towards KB. Tarantula does go down in return, but that was...
Not a good trade.
Well, I mean,
Shellfish is a
it
bit
worked out
caught here.
kinda. It worked out kinda now. They have so much HP lead that losing Shuku won't be the end of the world. If it was a closer game though...
Only win Knäckebröd can have now is to do a hard push, maybe have a lucky shots by TDs and cap with
There
3
they
guys.
go though, Failware now
Because they
coming
don't
from
have
behind.
enough time to kill all these guys.
Yeah, but Failware, solo HP, Forbidden picks him up, that flank not really working out. Yes, they trade Milosh, but they lose Failware, they lose Crooks.
There's only
Hellfish is
4
low
guys
HP.
left against 5. Time is ticking away. Cooldown positions are for Utopia, so it was a nice gimmick that Shuku died, but in reality it changes nothing.
It didn't change anything in this game, that's correct now. Leech Bear taking some damage as well from Muka and FPTD, and Utopia full control. The HP lead has decreased from 4k all the way back down to 2k though, and they have to make sure. Nice shot from Papa Barian, taking out Leech Bear before he's reloaded. And now it's only 3 guys left, and most of the HP is on Raven in the FE 4005, and Muka can make short meat out of him.
Well, a new guy in a game, Raven, brought them no change, but this was
As a
tactical.
lineup,
say
issue.
this was a tactical blunder after the last game where they had a decent lineup for defense and they really made huge player mistakes.
This lineup
And gave
is-
away the victory. Now they seem to be shaken. They had a 3-0 up and they are doing the TW.
Now, this lineup, I mean, if it was against a team, for example, like Ding, which you know most likely they're not going to push across towards the 8 line, but Utopia has literally done it twice in the last 2 matches.
Yeah, they've done it once on 8 line, but in first they did the rail. But it doesn't matter, they're pushing anyways. And it's the same lineup.
I mean,
so-
yeah, sorry. If they just looked at the last match, though, they would be able to predict Utopia is going to do it, and they should know that this lineup is most likely not going to work. Now, with 33 seconds left on the clock, there's not much KB can do in this one.
We are
except-
already in tiebreaker. The players are waiting for it. We are waiting for it. And this sorry game will come to an end really soon.
KB is drawing out time because they want to talk about the next round. They know they're going to go in a tiebreaker. There's no point of driving forwards. The round is lost. So they're just waiting for time to run out, talk about the next round, and hopefully figure out their mistakes they made, which were plenty.
Let's go, Raven. He wants to send some blood.
With
But
2 seconds left, 1 second left, and that should be it, as now Utopia bring it back, Mojo, the tiebreaker.
the tiebreaker is here. The scenario we were not hoping about.
So it is going to be a tiebreaker between these two. Now, let's think, who has the fastest attacking time, you think? I think it was going to be, I think the attack from...
Let's see, on Cliff, where KB won.
It was pretty quick.
Yeah, but then Cliff from Utopia was also decent. But none of the games were actually too quick.
I think it's going to be KB
Someone
that
actually has to measure them.
I think it's KB that's going to have the...
No, mate. Himmelsdorf.
It wasn't that fast.
Utopia's Himmelsdorf was faster than any other game.
I think the cliff...
Yeah, it
one-
was. They pushed straight from the start and the brawl started
Yeah, but it takes
immediately.
them 30 seconds to get down.
Yes, but the other games were actually dragging around left and right a bit, you know, climbing to the hills, doing this, doing that. This was a straight push and straight brawl from the start.
All right, let's imagine that KB is now...
Attacking probably. Because I
Attacking?
think Utopia will pick defense.
Okay, let's imagine they're attacking. They need to change it up. We do need to give our teams time to get ready in this one because they need to pick tanks and all that stuff and get ready because these points are important. But let's take a look at the stats from that last round first. And let's hope Milosh was great. Milosh. But just the top 7 tells the story pretty much. Hellfish and Sane, the only ones to really do anything. And it's
Muka
Utopia
did
everywhere
damage in
else.
TD again. Praise the Muka.
Well, yeah, it's not very hard this round.
Yeah, that was kind of a shooting round. 7 shells in a hard turret of E3. So, oh yeah, he did one more on budget before that.
That should have been a pen.
Yeah, that was
He
a
hit the
tasteful.
tracks, but
Yeah, but
Failware,
It was still a nice job.
KB got very lucky there already. Very lucky. They could have lost Failware from the beginning.
It kind of negated all their future counter pushes or whatever with Failware because he already didn't have HP.
And there we see the biggest issue, I guess. Failware, Raven.
Tarantula doing nothing. Well, tactically wise, they were outplayed
This
this
was a
time.
full lineup fail. Like the full start from KB was something that very realistically was not going to work, knowing how Utopia plays, especially since they did exactly the same thing in the last match.
Even when Navi was playing that, they were actually making sure they can go down and do that cap pressure because without it, this tactic sucks. It has nothing to
But that
offer.
was also in
It's
a
a
time
one-way
that's
tactic.
also in a time where teams on the defense didn't bring an FETD. They brought a Waffenträger instead. Now with Muka in that FETD, Xana's position becomes entirely useless, which you really need to control that entire B line.
Yeah.
If the E3 can't sit hold down, if
KB defense.
KB defense,
Oh,
Lucky for them.
That's lucky for them because they have another opportunity. So I was wrong then.
You
Because I seriously doubt Utopia would pick an
I
attack.
mean, I knew I was right all along.
Yeah, you were 100% correct. Yeah. Sure.
I was 100% convinced, but you know, I just don't want to throw you on the bus like that.
Yeah.
I'll just wait for producer to do it. But about that, when Navi did this, when Navi was the first one to really do it with such a lineup like this, there wasn't a FETT on the defender sides. There was no need for it. That only came when teams started picking a lot of E3s, and if you don't have that position where Sane is under control, you can't really do an A-line cap at all.
Yeah, Navi was kind of a game breaker there, but no one actually repeated that after that. I don't know why. Because that tactics, in my eyes, offers a couple of other solutions just beside capping. But that's their business. KB doesn't seem very prepared for Himmelsdorf compared to the other maps.
I mean,
where
they're
they had
lucky.
much
They're
better
lucky
ideas.
that they're on the defensive side. If they were
Yeah.
on the offensive side, I would have already said Utopia is probably going to win this one. Now
my eyes, there
Utopia
was
cannot do the same thing.
Yeah, in my eyes, there was nothing wrong with KB defense in first game they
Except
played
for player
today,
fails.
except for their own fails. That was the only problem. The pick of the tanks and positions were decent.
Now Utopia cannot do the same thing. It's not going to work twice.
No, and I don't think they would even try. They should even change the lineup. Their problem is that tiebreaker is the same map, so based on their flexibility,
Adaptability.
yeah, they're so flexible that they will probably play with the same lineup of tanks. So I don't know what will they do.
Now, there's one thing we have to mention
Maybe
about
there is
KB,
20
I
ways to
guess.
play the same lineup.
I mean, putting out Brat, it shows that there is a little bit of friction.
There is definitely friction in the team because he did misplay several games in a row. If we saw it, they saw it even
That
more.
causes a bad atmosphere on TeamSpeak if somebody makes misplays, because the FC gets 100% he gets mad.
When you are in FC, you were in FC, I was in FC. So
I
you
get
make
mad
a,
if people
you
misplay.
make a decent tactic. You read the enemy movements, and then some guy goes in the middle of the field and says, "Hello," and you're like,
Well, it
Really?
throws you off completely when somebody personal makes mistakes as an FC. You just
and
get
it's
really
not small
frustrated.
mistakes we're talking about here.
So that's going to have an effect as well onto the mindset, perhaps, of Hellfish.
Hellfish, who I know another peaceful nature in that team, Crooks. A very calm
You
guy.
have more experience with
A
him.
very calm person.
If you don't know, that's his sarcastic voice.
Yes, kind of.
Now, I'm still giving our teams a bit of time here to get ready, but now KB, it's not so much about KB in this round. I feel like it's going to be on Utopia to not bring the same lineup again. Or
Well, Utopia proved that actually they have the stones to stay in a game. So they managed to exploit all the games, all the mistakes that KB was throwing at them, which were abundant in last few games. But KB was a better planner in games before. So honestly,
KB would have already won this 5-2
Yeah,
if not for personal mistakes.
yes, KB deserves the victory here, but victory has to be taken. It's not like given. Come on. There is something they have to do about it. Like, you need to do that finishing blow.
A lot of nervousness from them, trying to close out that game. They could have won it on Himmelsdorf defense, but so eager, very impatient KB has been so far. We even saw it on Mines, if you remember. Cliff, Mines, always trying to fight, close out the game as quickly as they can. And it didn't cost them on Cliff and Mines because they had so much advantage.
On Cliff, it costed them one game.
Yeah, on Cliff, it cost them one game. Does seem like we can take a look at our lineups here as the teams are ready. But on the Himmelsdorf it costed them so much, and why
KB is
why
playing
Utopia?
identical.
But so is Utopia.
Yes, we've
I
seen the
don't like-
Utopia plays from both sides now. We've seen them push on a rail. We've seen them push the 8th line. The 8th line I really don't like because that's kind of a cheesy strat that relies on cab behind the building. Maybe they're going to try to do that again because then these slow tanks of Knäckebröd might mess up something. But that Ice 4 behind CDC, sorry, that will be a problem.
I mean, I don't like it. Utopia's lineup, it's a good lineup, don't get me wrong. It's maybe a bit batshot heavy. But I would like them to change at least one tank to something else. Then at least you give the enemy the ID, you might be doing something else. Because now KB has the mindset that they pretty much know the two options that Utopia might bring.
Well, Utopia is playing fluffy and flying style. Definitely here, lightweight on Himmelsdorf compared to Knäckebröd. Knäckebröd is just missing some good old German to have it full, like hardcore strong.
Missing a German tank in E100 to finish off this lineup.
They had a mouse on Ruinberg, so
Oh, please. Now, teams are almost ready here. That CDC didn't see it work out fully yet. Is Utopia...
but that was Tarantula's
Now,
fault.
what is Utopia going to do? Because they already used their trick up their sleeve by pushing that one line. I mean, they're not going to be able to do that again, realistically speaking.
Honestly, if I were them, I would do what I said in start. You don't have to push through there. You can push on a 3 line, not straight on a 3 line. You take the green field and you swap with tanks on that little corner. The T3 is watching. He was watching it. But E3 makes one shot and there is only one tank that can help him. In reality, while you burst out with 6 or 7 tanks there. So you take him out and then you take the brawl to the enemy. And that's where your fast tanks actually and clippers come to expression. Like this, if they try to make a one-sided fight somewhere behind corners, again, okay, they flanked once, but I doubt they're going to do the same mistakes again.
I give the advantage to KB purely because of the fact that Utopia has 3 Batshots. The tier 9 Batshot is going to have issues spanning the E3. The tier 10 Batshots are going to have to load heat for sure if they want to pen the E3. And then still they might not penetrate all their shells. That's why I'm going to have to give KB the advantage here if they get the E3s into right positions because it's completely wrecks those Batshot. But it does seem like our teams are ready. It's going to be KB. It's going to be Utopia. Let's find out as we move into Himmelsdorf here again. So we can see Tarantula and that CDC again moving to A6. And Utopia going for that 8-line push. Now, we have to see how that IS-4 works against them.
So Knäckebröd is doing everything the same, but Utopia now is pushing the 8th line. That was done in a previous match against Swift.
And Utopia pushing down the 8th line here with 6 tanks, but Vilware should be ready for this one, and it's going to be interesting to see how this one works out for Utopia. Now Muka will go to B0, but that IS-4 will be in a very, very strong position against those Batshots.
Yeah, this is what we suspected they will try to do, so Tarantula will fall for free. We were very aware of that. There is nothing he should do because he is actually sacrificial lamb there to make a good cover for failware. If you're wondering why, because then they cannot spam with the HE, and he's actually not trying to protect him from the mid line on 5 line. So that could be the play for
Leech
them.
Bear is waiting there in the T57 heavy though, so it'll be interesting to see how Utopia approach this one. Digging out the IS-4 is going to be very hard now. We saw Marakar play that position before an IS-4. The difference was that he was alone. He didn't have anybody shielding him. Now there is a wreck completely shielding Failware. And don't forget the mechanics of the game. You can spot through it that
But we
tank.
saw also people using Oni to cover an IS-4 there, but it was completely different angling and he didn't do
Yeah,
the best
he didn't
job.
have a hold down behind
Yeah.
that. It was more a shield towards the 5 line than a hold down. Now, Failware has a complete hold down, shoots between the gun and the hull. It'll be very hard to hit his top of the turret.
But Utopia is taking a free gift, and that's a CDC. So okay, for first 2 minutes it's not bad. They might even try to rotate now after killing him because a tank less, why not? Milos and Evil are trying to wait there for IS-4, but IS-4 has no reason whatsoever to do anything.
KB has no reason to move anywhere, and Leech Bear here is just waiting pretty much in a trap, and those bad shots, if he goes together with Sane, he could provide very, very difficult for those bad shots.
Will this be, you know what it looks like? I think they will do a pincer attack now. 5 line and the cap. They might actually overpower Utopia there. I mean, Knäckebröd there because
mean,
Knäckebröd has 3 tanks
What
out of the 5 here.
What Utopia should do is push the 5 line onto failware and push the A line at the same time and push across.
Bratti is back in the game, and I think he should actually gather up with the rest of the guys now a bit.
Shuku and Bishu are now pushing forward, so we'll have to see how that one works out for them as they decide against it for now.
Yeah, they're trying to find an angle to shoot failware, so I guess they will slowly approach and see, as in anyone watching the corners. And there you go, proxy spot on Leechbear is there.
They spot Leechbear here. Shuku wants to go for the speak, has to be careful. Gets tracked.
Ooh, Ice
gets
Core
tracked.
didn't actually connect, but failware paid the price for that.
Yeah, Muka and that Gorilla landing a nice shell here onto failware, and Leechbear, it looks like he wants to take the peak here.
Oh, come on, don't be that greedy, bro.
Now,
This is the moment to actually play it out.
they haven't been able to do anything. Milosh taking
Milosh
a lot
taking
of
a
damage here.
Ooh, Leechbear paying the price because he's peeking there.
You see that E3 bouncing a lot of shells here. Leechbear, did he overcommit as he's taking out his strike? Because he's taking a lot of free damage there for
He
no
took
reason.
a lot of damage from Milosh and from Grill behind, I would say. So definitely he did pick out too much. Failware is more or less at the moment on his own, so Shuku is doing his clips and then another budget will come to continue the work.
Yeah, Shuku not doing the greatest of work with his shells, though only barely landing one. Now Bishu, let's see if he can do better. Misses the first, lands the second. It's not going to be able to kill him though. Missing
Yeah,
another
but they
one.
still have a lot of time to work with that. They are actually grinding them down like Knäckebröd was grinding them with the HE grenades.
Now Hellfish and Crooks are moving over, so it feels like KB is going to try and make a play onto that 5 line, but Shuku and Papa Pyron kind of ready for this one. Not a lot of tanks there for Utopia, which could be a good thing as they might not lose too much HP there. And most of the Utopia guys who should be able to cover this.
It looks like Utopia is actually working their way to that victory.
And there's the push from KB. Now pushing forward, Shuku should be the first one here, as Hellfish already taking a lot of damage in his Heat 3 over there, and we can see him get completely wrecked. Everybody from Utopia just waiting for that run. Bratti is the next one, Leechbear as well. Muka now with that Gorilla getting a nice crossfire here, and Utopia completely reading the play from KB, and it looks like they will be the ones. It looks like Utopia finally finding their strive in this one, as now Muka's pushing forward. They have so much HP advantage. Forbidden comes around, picks up Leechbear, and it's just Crooks and Sunalay on left.
Finally, a brilliant display of Utopia. This was how it should be played. Even the first game, they found every weakness of Knäckebröd and managed to turn this match around completely. What a throw.
This is now only Crooks left, and he will be picked up by Diablo. And that will be it. Utopia, the comeback mojo. They do it. 5-4 Utopia.
Brilliant game. I'm
And
actually,
slow
we were
reactions from
talking about
KB.
map statistics, and I have a hint that Knäckebröd has a map that they will ban in future.
Himmels.
So far, out of the 5 games they played on Himmelsdorf, they won 0.
Well, I mean, I gotta say their record